Welcome to Open Vibes with your host, Denmika Eugene.
Your mic is off. Or you're muted, I think.
Good evening and welcome to Open Vibes. I'm your host, Denmika, and we are here with the lovely, talented Miss Marlow Wyatt. And I am so excited, you guys. So excited. Miss Marlow, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I'm a entertainer. I'm a playwright and an actor, and theater. I have a theater background. I lived in New York for a little while. I moved to LA. I've been here for quite some time to do film and television, and I'm a theater girl through and through. I love film and television as well. I am starting to write and trying to transition into writing for film and television. But at the end of the day, I am an actor, graduated from Howard University's Theater Arts Department. Started writing, really being serious to become a playwright about 10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're starting to write for film and television. How different is it writing for theater versus film?
How different? Say it again.
How different is it? What's the difference in writing for theater?
It's just the formatting. It's the formatting, really. It's the structure, and film and television is more visuals, probably less dialogue, at least for me, because I'm very dialogue heavy. I love words and I love language, so I have more freedom, I feel like, in theater. Whereas television is a little limiting because you have a time frame that you have to fit in. If you're doing a 30-minute show, you have 25 minutes because you have to make account for the commercials and all that kind of stuff. So it's different in that way for me, and that's what I'm working on. Really have a lot of books here that are film and television, just understanding format, understanding the structure. Because my background is in acting, I really understand character development, character arcs. I think that comes a little easier for me, and I naturally write visually, so it helps me out a lot. But there's still, it is different. People don't think that it's different, but I feel like I have much more freedom as a playwright than I do. So it's an interesting transition, but it's a challenge for me, but I like it. And I like the outcome. I like when I watch a television show and I want to see the script, because it's what you see and what's on paper. Just to watch the craft of people making those words come alive is so amazing to me. But you have to, you have to keep it short. You have to keep it precise. So
I love it. I absolutely love it. I definitely believe in you. I know you got it. You've got it.
I'm trying. I'm working on it. I got a ways to go. It is not natural to me. It's a very new genre for me. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody. Everybody has a first time. So every first time that you're doing something, just know that everybody has went that way who's, successful at it. So everybody has a first time at doing something. So you got this. So what does theater do for you? You're muted, Marlow. I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulty. I can't hear you. Yeah, you're muted. I still can't hear you. Are your earbuds plugged in? I can't. It's okay, you guys. Bear with us. If you have questions for Marlow, just go ahead and drop them in a comment section and we will get to them as soon as her sound comes back in. Nope, I still can't hear you. So, you guys, let me tell you a little bit while we're having the difficulty. Okay, she will be back in a moment. Marlow, I have been trying to get this interview with her for months, you guys. I absolutely love some of the plays she has written. Yes, she is amazing. So she's written several plays. One of them was She. That I think that play is actually just phenomenal. Okay, Marlow is back.
Okay.
Here we go. Yes.
I don't know what is happening. I am so sorry, but I keep getting kicked out. I don't know.
That's okay.
They were doing construction over here, so that could be, I have no idea what's going on. But anyway, I'm back. So what was the question?
That's okay. I started going a little bit into the plays you've done, but what does theater do for you?
I love theater so much. Theater is, it's an intimate connection. It's different from film because film, you're separated. It's a whole thing. It's live. You have that visceral connection. You feel it. The audience can't fake a laugh, or they can't fake, you know whether they like something or not. You know whether or not you've moved them right in that moment.
Yes.
I think it's just a special time. And I think no matter how big the theater is, the performing live is such an intimate human connection there. It's a call and response, and it's different from movies, I think.
Excellent. I love it. So when did you start writing? Tell us a little bit about that, and how did you start writing? Because I think that's a very interesting story.
When I say it again, when did I start
writing?
I started writing. Okay, so I came to LA. I was only acting in New York. Never thought about writing or anything else. I had friends who used to say, "Oh, you should write. You should write." And I was like, "No, I'm going to act." And I came to LA because I really decided I wanted to do film and television. And I was like, even though there was film and television in New York, this was the place to do it. So I came here, and a friend of mine she got a gig. She got a television show, and she asked me to take over because she was teaching acting at a conservatory for kids.
Okay.
And she was like, I got this gig. Will you take over? And I just got here and I needed money. And I was like, yeah, I'll teach, But what happened was, with that, at the end of that program, I was teaching acting to three different groups of kids, like from 7 all the way to 18. And at the end of the program, they have a live theater performance. And so I ended up writing the little shows, the little vignettes, scenes, and scenarios for the live theater performance. So that's when I kind of started. And they would get calls at the school saying, "Oh my God, this is the best show." This is, And also, when I was auditioning here in LA, which was a while ago, there was never anything written for people of color, especially Black women. It would just be a generic role, and you would just go out for it. It didn't have any kind of cultural significance or authenticity. It'd be like secretary. It would just be so generic, written generic. And, and I would get scripts, and I was like, I don't know anybody who speaks like this, or I wouldn't say this. I don't know anybody Black who would say this, or something like, So even for plays, there weren't a lot of plays that I was auditioning for. So after working with the conservatory for about, I think 2 summers or 3 summers, I started to get the feel of, I knew how to write. And so I challenged myself to write a full-length play, because I'd never written a full-length play. And I'm very much into education and teaching and learning and taking classes. And so I found that the Roby Theater Company here had a playwrights lab. And I sent a sample in, they accepted it. And so that's when I started writing, and I wrote my very first play, started in that lab. And that's the play that is going to have it was going to have its world premiere this year, but because of COVID, everything was canceled. I mean, last year, but because of COVID, everything was canceled. So, yeah, so I started writing then, and went from different labs and working through with Moving Arts, the Antilles Playwrights Lab, the Playwrights Union, and being around really talented, very smart people and dramaturgs who basically gave me my education as a playwright, because I didn't go to school for playwriting.
Okay. But you went for arts. Okay.
Say it again.
I said, but you went for theater arts, correct? Oh no, she got kicked out again. You guys, I am so sorry about the difficulty. I really don't know what is happening. But when she comes back in, there she goes. When she comes back in, I want to find out what was the first play and the details of it. You know, who was the main character and who did she see fit for the lead, and who did she kind of have in mind? So it's taking a little bit of time for her to come back in, you guys. But she has written Say Something. She's written Red Ribbons, Robin from the Hood. She's written Morning of the Suns, The Spirit Lives. She's written a play called She. So I'm interested in finding out exactly which one was supposed to premiere last year. She said it was her first play that she wrote. So a little bit about Marlow as well. She's, like I said, she's a teacher. She's a playwright, but most of all, she's an actress. You know, and I believe that is her first love, is acting. All right, she is back. Sorry about that. I don't know what's happening, but I'm just telling you.
I think it's me. I have no idea, but
that's okay. But I told him a little bit about some of the plays you've written. And your first love is acting, correct?
Yes, it is. But I can say that I love them both, but I love creating this. I love creating a story from nothing, because everything starts with the writer.
Yes.
It's all blank. And without the writer, actors don't have jobs, directors don't have jobs, lighting designers don't have jobs. So I love the idea of having just an idea and creating an entire world and people around that one idea. So
what have you found to be your muse? Like, what really gets the thought process going?
For me, it's everyday people. It really is. It's not that, like, I like simplicity, and I like basic relationships. Like, I wrote this piece, Red Ribbons. A friend of mine, Shawnette Sweets, I think Shawnette is on here. I think I saw her. She invited me. She wanted me to help her raise funds for the AIDS life cycle, which she does every year. She's an amazing human being, and she does it every year. And I was like, I'll help you raise money, and I can, I'll write a play, and we can invite people, and we'll take the funds from the play and donate it to AIDS life cycle, blah, 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 blah. But the play that I had already written had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
And so I was just like, this is really ego-based for me to just want to do my play that had nothing to do with the topic. And so I was like, I think I should probably really sit down and think about writing a piece about the topic of HIV and what that is with minorities and things like that. And then a friend of mine said something to me that created this play that I wrote. And he said that he knew a 15-year-old who went to his church who was HIV positive.
Wow.
And nobody knew about it. Nobody knew. And it was time, I think he was 15, 16. It was time for him to go to the prom. And he was going to take one of the other girls to the prom. And his family was afraid, because they were like, do we tell them? Do we do, because he's 16, or whatever the prom age is. And there were concerns. And that's all he said to me. I don't know the guy's name. I don't know what church. I don't know anything. But my head blew. I was like, what must it be like now? I never thought of it.
Yeah.
In the age of social media, what it would be like to be HIV positive your entire life and have there's normalcy. Like you can't just go to the prom. You have to tell, like, who do you tell? Who do you not tell? Who do you trust? And all of these things came up, and I just imagine the anger and the frustration and just culturally what that would be like with the stigma and things like that. So I wrote an entire play around that, but I don't know. It's not based on a true story. It's just based on, I was inspired by the idea that there are people walking around with things that they don't feel comfortable that they can share. And to me, it's just eating them up inside, because that's the world we live in, So I wrote a play around that.
That is pretty amazing. So which book is that?
I can barely hear your question, so say it again.
Okay. No, I said, which is that? Which play is that?
It's going in and out. So what did you say?
Oh, which play is that?
What's the name of that play?
Yes.
Red Ribbons. It's
Red
Ribbons.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
like the ribbons that yeah.
I think that's absolutely amazing. Amazing. So what is most challenging for you about bringing the characters to life?
I don't find writing, what is the most challenging about writing characters?
Bringing them to life.
As an actor?
Yes.
I don't know. I enjoy it so much. Like I think that I'm pretty detailed, and if I have enough time with the script, I like to know things about them. You always read what the other characters say about them. You base that, you add a little bit of that, what the character itself themselves say. I always like to know. I always create birthdays for them. So I build a little bit by themselves. Like what's there? Are they Leos? Are they Taurus? Are they stubborn? Are they this? Are they that? So I don't know how challenging it is, but that's just part of my process. And it's fun to create. Like, I think that like the writer creates the base, that's the cake. And I just feel like the actors get to add the sprinkles and the icing and all of that to it. For me. And so I always work with what's there, what's written on the page, and then I add. And then if the director or the writer was like, no, she wouldn't do this, or, then I can pull back. But I always like to add, and I always like to explore. There's a freedom with that. When it comes to theater, like I said, theater, to me, you have more freedom because you have every night to be like, okay, I did this. Then the next night, it's a different audience, it's a different energy, and you just kind of feed off of that energy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your question, but
it does. So who is your favorite character that you have created so far?
I don't necessarily know that if I have a favorite. I might have favorites in some plays. I do like the character in She, which is the first play that I've written. Okay. There's a character, Bernice.
Okay.
And I like any character that is unapologetic.
Okay.
And I think for me, there's a part of me that gets to live vicariously through the characters that I write. Like I can be brave through them, to do things through them that I wouldn't do, that I probably want to do, but I'm not brave enough to say or do or be. Yeah. So I like the characters, and that there's also another character in Red Ribbons, and her name is Nikisha, and I think she is very much a ride or die girl, and she's willing to die to be with her man. Like that kind of, there's a boldness to her, and so I like anybody that's unapologetic and like it is what it is and what. So
Yeah.
I like characters like that. And I've written a couple of them. I've written at least two. I think Bernice, and she is that way. And I also think that Nikisha in Red Ribbons is that way as well.
So what do you do when you meet people who remind you of the character you wrote about? Like, are you like intrigued with them or?
I do. I don't mean, I won't say that I've met people that remind me of characters, maybe, but I will say that people, like when there's a talk back after reading or something, that people do say to me, oh, that's me. Oh, that's my uncle. So that makes me feel proud. So
Nice.
You know, people say it to me. It's rare that I'm like, oh, I might say it when we're auditioning or when we have actors like, oh, she's definitely a Bernice. Oh, he's Solomon. He's a, you know, something like that. But not just meeting people. I haven't had that experience yet, but I've had the opposite where people come up to me and say, oh my God, that's my story. Oh my God, that's me up there. Oh my God, you know, something like that, which is always nice to hear. Always nice to hear.
I love it. And I love the fact that you make characters for the community, the culture, the people. That's a beautiful gift. And like you said before, you know, when you were doing the auditions, and it was so rare that, you know, they're just kind of simple characters. The fact that you decided to create a whole universe for people who don't usually get to, you know, indulge in that's amazing to me. That is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome. So which one of your plays represents true freedom?
Which one of my plays represents
true freedom, like freedom and the way that people can live and operate in?
Well, I will say there's this piece that I'm working on right now. I have one draft of it, and it's called Listen, a Black Woman is Speaking. And it is, for me, I already know that this is my freest play. Represents true freedom because the character, it's a play within a play, and the lead character is a writer.
Wow.
And she's writing the story as it is happening in real time, so to speak, with the stage directions and everything. She reads all of that. And it's about this writer who was hired and paid a lot of money to speak at a woman's convention 2 days before, which is mostly white women, a wealthy white woman's convention, but there were Black women there as well.
Oh no. Okay, so it cut out again. We're talking to Miss Marlow Wyatt about some plays she has written. She's an excellent playwright, well-known playwright. She's out of LA. And she is coming back. Give us a couple of moments, because this particular interview, like I said, I've waited months for. I just think she's a phenomenal writer. And people really need to know more of her and about who she is, because she's creating plays, like I said, for the culture, for the people, and just bringing us to the forefront. Okay, she's not quite back yet. We're going to go a little bit deeper and find out who has inspired her, who are some of her favorite actors and actresses, things she's passionate about, you know, what are some of her desires within the industry? Where does she see this going for herself? So those are some of the questions we're going to ask her when she returns. Like she said, she's a native of Kansas City. She went to Howard University. She took theater arts there. And I just think she's absolutely phenomenal. I had the opportunity of reading and doing a audition with one of her plays. And I just wanted to know more about the writer. So I kind of reached out, and, you know, this has been months to get her to come and do this interview. And I am going to be patient through this thing, because when you meet somebody who really inspires you or encourages you, you know, it doesn't always work out how we want it to, but I'm going to be patient through this because I really wanted to speak with Marlow and share her with you guys. It's popping in and out, so just give us a moment. All right, so who's here with me? Who is here with me? Give me a moment. She's trying to reconnect. She's having some, they're doing some construction in her area. She's based in LA now. Like she said previously, she lived in New York for a little while. She's taught some classes. She actually started writing when she was teaching at a conservatory, and she started writing for young girls and teaching them about theater, which I think is absolutely phenomenal, because we have to, you know, pass down the torch and share what we know with the people. So it's just taking a moment, you guys. There she goes. Hey, Marlow, can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you the whole time. Like I've been in and out twice, okay, but it doesn't seem to be connecting. So, but yeah, so I forgot what I was saying. I forgot what you asked me. I'm like, oh goodness.
That's okay. I was just telling all your business again. I just absolutely, like, I read a portion of one of your plays for an audition, and I just thought it was phenomenal. It was.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and it was She. So I actually read for She, and I know she is probably a younger girl, much younger, but I was telling the audience, I had to reach out and find you and really get this audition. So it went out one more time, but I'm believing that this is going to work. You guys, bear with me. All right, there she goes. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So Marlow, who inspired you to act?
Nobody. I mean, well, I was a junior. I was on the speech and debate team.
Okay.
And I think it was my junior year, I took an acting class as an elective because I was like, I had enough credits, and I was like, I'll just take acting. And then I fell in love with it. And I had an acting teacher, I think his name is Mr. Good, and he encouraged me to be an actor. So when I was applying for schools, my uncle was like, you should come to Howard. You should come to Howard. And I applied for the fine arts department. I got in, and the rest is history. But up until then, I was in dance school and stuff like that, stuff that little girls do, but I was a cheerleader and things like that. But I never thought until I was a junior in high school that I wanted to pursue acting as a career.
Nice.
As a career. It wasn't until I went to Howard University and just being there and the experience that I had really impacted me in the most positive way. And I knew that I could make a living doing this. And it wasn't about being famous or anything like that. I knew a lot of people who were working actors who made a good living being an actor. They weren't necessarily famous or household names. And so I was like, I can do this. I can do this. Now, in the beginning, I was like, I'm gonna give it a TV show and I'm gonna do, you always want that. I was in my 20s. So you're thinking, I'm gonna be famous. That was the goal. But when I really started working with certain people and got the opportunity to work with certain directors, I just love theater that much. It does something for me, and I feel blessed to know what I like, because I think a lot of people go through their lifetime and not really latching on to what it is they want to do with their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this is what I'm supposed to do, whether it's writing, performing, or, something in the arts. This is the thing that fulfills me the most.
Wow.
I can't imagine doing anything else. Like, I think your purpose is your purpose, because like being a doctor is a great profession, but I could never be a doctor for anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't interest me. I don't care. I don't even care for my own doctor. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm just like, I'm glad that they exist. I'm glad that somebody's passionate about that, just as I'm passionate about the arts,
Definitely. So who are a few actors that you desire to work with, or have you worked with?
You mean famous people, or just
yeah. I mean, people may know.
Famous people, there might be, there's not so much actors. Like I love LaTanya Richardson. I love, as far as theater folks, I love Melissa Leo.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to work with them in some capacity. I am in love with Chiwetel Ejiofor, anything that he does. And he's a theater guy. I know he did Othello in England, and I would have given anything to see that. But I'm very fortunate that I have some really amazingly talented friends.
Nice.
Like the cast of She is like, Karen Molina White is Bernice, Derek Shawn, Lorenz Arnell. So I got some really, Juanita Jennings, who was on David Makes Man. She's a friend of mine. She's an extraordinary. I actually got to work with her when I first came to LA. And so she was so nice to me and gave me her number. And I was like, I'm going to work with her again. So then when I had the opportunity, I'm like, I'm a writer now. I'm offering you something.
Yeah.
So she loves this piece. She's a wonderful Miss Jane. And but Tanya Pinkins, Michelle Shea, Erica Alexander, I think she is so talented. I don't think people know that she's from the stage in New York. I used to go watch her perform, and I know a friend of hers.
Oh, it went out one more time. So she's just naming a few people she's worked with and want to work with. We are going to be patient and let her reconnect. Like I said, she's having some construction in her area, so you guys bear with me. There she goes. All right.
Girl, we gonna make it through.
We gonna make it through this. I so appreciate it.
We are, the intro net is, like I said, but anyway.
It's okay. I am patient. I'm just excited to have you. I'm grateful for, the time. So how do you want the audience to feel when they are watching your plays?
I want them to feel seen. I want them to feel seen. I want them to be entertained. I want them to be moved. So when they leave, you know how you go to see something and you get in the car and that's all you do is talk about it all the way home, and then you pick up the phone and you're like, you got to go see this. I want them to be inspired and to be moved and to be proud. Or also maybe they'll see something and go, you know what, that's me, and I don't like that part of me. To be moved, to have an experience, and to be positively impacted by that experience, to be empowered, to be moved to make a positive change. And like I said, to be entertained. I want them to laugh. I want them to feel like they got their money's worth and that they didn't waste their time.
Excellent.
Because I think that that's our job, and it's an escape to come to theater, just like it is for movies. And, whether you're working hard, you got all these things happening, you're going to sit in this little black box with strangers. I want you to leave going, I'd do that all over again,
Nice. Very nice. So what genres have you haven't written in yet, but you want to experience?
Say it one more time.
What genres so that you haven't written in yet? Like maybe comedy or maybe, you
Oh,
know.
probably comedy. I am not. People think that I'm very funny. Now, I write dramas with comedy laced in it,
Mhm.
but a straight comedy, I am not. Not That's not my gift. I don't think. Even though friends say, "Oh, you're funny, you're funny," but I don't. I'm not confident in that. But I'm okay being in my lane. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like
understand.
I do what I do. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
this is what
I'm
I
not
do, and
funny
I'm
at all.
comfortable in it.
So
Yeah.
sometimes when they're like, "It's a comedic audition," I'm like, "I'm not funny." Like but I want to be funny, but I'm not at all. So I
I'm the
get it.
same way. I can be funny, like talking to you. We can say stuff and we'll be cracking up, but it doesn't
Yes,
translate to page all the time. That's just you and your girlfriends and guy friends just be like, "Oh my God," cracking up.
yes,
But that doesn't mean that, oh, you're funny. I think they say, comedy is harder than drama,
I
performance wise. And the comedians, people to do what they do, that's a whole nother skill set.
it
I'm
really is.
like, to them, because it's
Yes,
not my get down. That's not what I do, you know?
yes,
And I'm
that's
okay with that, because I don't think every actor has to be like, oh, you should be able to do comedy. It's like, you can do it,
mhm.
but do it well. And I'd rather focus on the one thing that I do and be an expert at that, be a craftsman at that.
That's good. That's good.
Mhm.
So are you still teaching?
Teaching,
Yes.
I don't. I mean, I was never. Well, I teach. I just did some work last summer. A friend of mine has an organization, and he asked me to teach, so I was doing that. But teaching, just like, oh, am I a teacher? No. But if somebody asks me, and it's usually my friends they run nonprofits, and they might
I love it.
say, because especially now, it was very difficult, but it worked, doing it over Zoom, because
Okay.
it's the arts. How are you going to, you know what I mean? It's challenging, but
Mhm.
I would still do it if I had the time. And now I'm writing.
Okay, she will be back, you guys. Thank you for having some patience and working through this with us. She is coming back. And this is Miss Marlow Wyatt. Like I say, it's just an honor to have her. You can find her on Instagram. There she goes.
So yeah, but I'm writing a lot and acting a lot. Like I said, I have an acting thing on Friday, and so I don't really have the time to teach as much
Excellent.
as I did before.
Excellent. So what type of acting do you love? You doing plays, you doing commercial, you doing movies, films? What is it that you love with the acting, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter to me. I really love stage. I think that I can do more with stage, with theater. But I really want to do film. Um,
Excellent.
because I don't like to, it doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, I'm not doing that because I don't do it. It's acting is acting for me. It's just the
Mhm.
challenge of it. But what I like about theater is when you do it and you've done, and you can move on. Same thing with film. It's like, you do this film, you work on it for a few months, and I want to be able to do that and work in different genres. I love old movies from the 50s. I love the costumes. I love the whole, so I like period pieces, but I would love to do that. Television, sitcoms and things like that. I think that I don't know how happy I would be
Mhm.
doing the same role for 10 years. Like I'm kind of, I don't know. I would like to do different things
Mhm.
than the same thing for 10 years.
Yeah, you have wings. You like to fly. So, so let me ask you this: a play. When you write a play and you guys are performing it, how long does a play usually run? How many nights?
When I write a play, okay,
Mhm.
say it again.
How long does the play usually run in the theater? Is it like a month, or is it 2 weeks, or it's up to the?
If it's produced well, usually it's a 6-week run. It depends. It depends on the theater.
Okay.
Is that what you mean? Or
yeah. Yes. Just seeing how long. Yeah.
Like the with I think it was a 6-week run with a possible extension. So that was the contract. That was the agreement that was going to, I believe it was 5 to 6 weeks with a week extension, depending on the audience and things like that.
So I'm really, she went out again, but I'm really interested in finding out if she is going to happen maybe this year, next year, because I really think that's an excellent play. And I wouldn't mind traveling to even go see it. I definitely know that's worth it. So we'll find out. There she goes. There we go. So will she be back? I mean, is it gonna happen this year or maybe next year, 2022?
It is scheduled. They did not take it off the schedule. They want to do it. Latino Theater Company at LACC downtown. Everybody's just waiting on COVID. Nobody can plan anything and say, because it was when in March, we didn't know, we were just moving it back because it was scheduled for June of last year. And we were like, when COVID hit in March and things shut down, we really thought, between March and June, we'll start rehearsals late May, or we can move it back a little bit and we'll be fine. But it just got worse and worse and worse. We had no idea that everything was going to shut down. And so then it was like, okay, September, we're just going to open up the season with and then, so it's being done. It's just a matter of Rona. It's Rona's decision.
He's rude. She is rude. Oh, well, I hope it, ends soon so that, you can get she out there, because I like I said, I will travel to come see that play. I definitely want to see it.
Well, good. I hope. Yeah, we have a lot of good feedback about she. There's another, people love this play for some reason. People have really connected to this play, and I'm proud of that because it's my very first play. It's my very first full-length play. So it's we've gone through a lot of readings, we've gone through a lot of drafts, and so it's where I want it to be. And it's definitely, I think it's a universal play. It's a universal play. It crosses all audiences, all ages, sexes, and people seem to really, really relate to it. So I'm grateful.
Wow. So Marlow, what gives you a peace of mind?
What gives me peace of mind? Quiet time. Every morning I write in a journal. I have tons of journals, and that's how I start my day. I love early mornings when everything is quiet and life is just beginning. And I love to write and talk to God and just sit in stillness and quiet and just figure out what is happening through and as me. And then I start my day. So that for me is peaceful. And I have a space in my closet that I have discovered. I have a walk-in closet, and I put a bench, a little seating thing in there in the middle of it. And sometimes I'll go in there because there's no windows. This is a very bright apartment, and it's just pitch black. It's like being in the womb, and I can visualize there. I can feel I'm connected to my ancestors. I'm connected to spirit. I'm connected to God. So that gives me peace.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So when did you realize how valuable you were?
That's well, this is what I think. I think that the fact that I woke up this morning gives me value, and the fact that God has given me many gifts and many talents. And I know.
You guys, she's coming right back. I think this is a very, very important message for you guys to hear, because definitely God has gifted her, and she popped back in. There she goes.
So I was gonna say that as an artist, and whatever your skill set is, I think that makes you valuable. Sharing what the gifts and talents that God or the universe or higher being has given you, put you here on this earth to use, to share with others and to be of service. So I think that makes me valuable. And I think that's what makes all of us valuable. Whether you're a great speaker, whether you're a great architect, people who build buildings, people who built this building. Like, I love this building. It is so old and so like 1920s, but I love this building. I could never do or draft plans for something like this, be a civil engineer or do any of those. So those are gifts that impact the world. And so I think that we're each here to do that. Each of us has our gifts and our talents to do that, whatever it is, even if it's being a mother or a teacher or whatever it is. All of it's needed to keep everything moving.
Definitely. Definitely. So when did you fall in love with God?
My mother used to say that. She's like, even when you were little, I just always knew that there was a higher being. I don't know. I think from the very beginning, I remember praying. I remember knowing that there was a higher being than this human existence. Yes. There was always had a spiritual connection. I am not a religious person. I cannot quote biblical scripture and all of that kind of stuff. But I believe that God is in all of us. And I know that. It's not even I just believe in that. And for me, because I have friends who don't believe in God. I have friends who are Catholic, who are Buddhist, who are, all different kinds of things, Mormon. But I'm okay with that because I believe it's just one spiritual connection. There's, all roads lead to this one higher being. Right. So yeah, I just do. I cannot explain. It's one of those things. It's like, why do you believe in this? Or I can't explain it. This is just who I am. This is just how I'm made. I know where my gifts come from. I know why I'm here. I know who I am and whose I am. You know how people say that. And I believe it. Yeah, I just believe it. Just as, I believe it because it's true for me.
It's true. Definitely true.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not. Yeah.
Wow. I love it. And I know that's definitely why he gives us the gifts and talents he gives us, so that once again, they're all interlinked. And it's okay. And what I try to tell people, I am not religious at all. I believe I am very spiritual. I am rooted down. I am connected to God himself. So, and it's a beautiful thing to embrace those people around you who do have other things. And that way you can encourage them and they can encourage you. So definitely. So Marlow, I want you to grab two things around you in your space, and just two random things.
I have this. This is, can you see it? The Four Agreements. This book. Yes. Have you heard of this book?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you have to get this book. This book is everything. It's The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Okay.
I have that. And then I have, you know what I have? And I just took it down to clean it. And I didn't put it back up. But I have this. I'm at my desk that I write, but in front of this, behind this on my wall, let me see if I can put it right with the camera, is the New York Times paper from 1963. This is before the March on Washington.
I love it.
So it's an old newspaper, and I had it framed, and I keep it right. It's right there. I just took it down to clean it there, and it's next to my vision board. So when I write, that's what I look at. But I keep that there because it's my ancestors. Do you know what I mean? So it reminds me to keep going.
She is going to come back in. And when she comes back in, I have a question for her. With sharing, she shared the newspaper from 1963, and she shared the book. So my question for Marlow is, she's back. Hold on, you guys. There she goes. So with those two items, tell us, how can you save the world with them?
Say it again.
With those two items, tell us, how can you save the world with those two items?
I didn't hear the question. You said those two items, what?
That you shared with us. Tell us, how can you save the world?
Okay, you said those two items tell you what about, you want me to tell you about them, or?
No, tell us, how can you save the world with those two items?
How can I save the world, or?
Yes, you save the world with those two items.
Did you say, how can I save the world with these two items?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought you said. I was like, did you say save the world? I don't know. Let me tell you.
Now you got to get creative.
We can all save the world. It's like, I can save myself. You know how they say you take care of yourself and then everything falls in place? Well, yes. This book is, I've had this book since 2002. I literally probably read it every year since then. I always reread it. The last time I read it was when I was actually, this is what my friend asked me to teach to the kids last summer. And so I always reread this book. So it has changed my life. And so great things have come to me because I have changed. And the picture is more inspirational, but it's also for us to remember where we come from, because I think sometimes we get caught up. And so it's a gentle reminder for me of whose backs we come, whose backs we've walked over to get to where we are. And that's for everybody. It doesn't matter that you're Black or white or Jewish or whatever. You're here. We're all here because of what the people before us did. And so I think that if we get out of our egos and understand that, I think that will create a better world, because sometimes we get a little caught up as if we did this, we're very much in a me society. I don't need anybody. I can do this by myself. And you really can't. It's a wonderful thing to think, but it's.
Wow. She's on the right track. Definitely with that. You cannot do it by yourself. I love the picture. Definitely a reminder of the ancestors. I'm going to get the book. I'm going to read the book. There she goes.
And so I don't know, like saving, I don't know what that could save the world from what, like we're all just kind of imploding.
From ourselves. It's a fun question. It's just, how can you take these two items and make it better?
Yeah, well, if every white supremacist could read this, we would, that would make it better.
Nice. I love it. So Marlow, tell us two more questions for you. Tell us three fun facts about you.
Let's see. I don't know if this is a fun fact, but it's a weird fact in LA. I love public transportation.
Okay.
I love riding the bus and the subways. And I don't care how filthy and disgusting they are. I don't care how graffiti. I don't care who's on it. I literally just took the train. Instead of flying, I took a train. I love public transportation, and I would rather do that than drive. I don't like driving, though I do drive. But I would rather walk than drive, or take the bus, or ride my bike than drive. So I don't know if that's a fun fact, but in LA, it's a big deal because everybody drives here.
Well, let me tell you,
when they find out I take the bus, it's like, you take the bus? Why? Oh, I thought I wanted to take the bus. And they're like,
LL Cool J, he's been taking the subway, and he's been like putting on his mask and his hoodie. So he's been out in public taking random pictures like nobody knows it's him. So I thought that was pretty cool. He's been in the mall and all that fun stuff. So kind of hiding from the public, but in plain sight.
Yeah. And I'm a voyeur, and I like watching people interact on the bus, and I imagine where they're going on their morning commute, or if they're coming from the hospital, who did they visit, or, why did they get off at this stop? Like I feel like when I ride public transportation, I'm working.
You are.
I'm researching, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love it because I don't sit with my buds on and like ignore people. I'm like looking.
Yeah.
I'm like, where are they going? Why does she wear that?
Yeah. That's good. I mean, but that's what you do, is a part of who you are. So that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So it could be that. Yeah.
So 2 more fun facts.
2 more. What else? I'm in love with Chunky Monkey ice cream by Ben & Jerry's. That is literally the only ice cream that I will eat.
Wow.
It's the only flavor I won't eat. And when I get in writing modes or depressive mode, I will sit there and I'll buy it, and I'll eat it, and I'll be happy, and I can go on about my way. So if I'm depressed, I go to that. Or if I'm feeling just so much joy and so much inspiration, I go to Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey ice cream. And I like their activism, even though I probably, so they're very, pro civil rights and pro. So it makes me feel good to buy that ice cream.
And support. So Claire and Miss Shawnette, you guys, she wants some Chunky Monkey. Let's inspire her.
Yes. Yes, I could probably write a whole play about Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey ice cream. That's how much I love it.
I love it. Nice.
Yeah. And you said another one. I don't know any other thing. I don't like crowds, if that makes sense. For somebody who's in theater, people are very surprised that I'm a little shy when it comes to certain things. And if I'm in a big space, I usually find one person that I connect with and probably have a conversation with that one person all night long. But I'm not that good of a big crowd, big party kind of thing. I'm more of a loner.
Okay.
And so, so that may surprise a lot of people. I mean, people who know me know that, but I really I'm not as social as people might think. I'm probably more of a voyeur. In as much as I like people, like I like this exchange because it's you and it's me and it's us.
Yeah.
And sometimes when there's talkbacks, I can deal with that. But when it's
okay. You guys, she's going to come back in one more time, and we are going to have Marlow leave us with something inspirational, something encouraging. We're not going to take up too much more of her time. There she goes. So once it pops up. This has been a really great interview. I've enjoyed it. Okay, so one more thing, Marlow, and we're not going to hold you any longer. What do you want to leave the people with?
What do you
want to leave the people with? Something encouraging, something inspirational?
I just want to leave the people with a true sense of themselves. Like, we're in such a crazy, crazy time. I want to leave them with not just hope, but faith. And I want to leave them with a sense of relief if they come to the theater, or if it's something that I've written, or if they see me do a role. Because that's what happens to me sometimes when I see things. And I want to leave them with a sense of being able to escape all of this craziness that is out there, and that it can change. but something positive and something light, that you are enough. I just sent in a piece. Somebody had asked me, and I was like, asked me a question, and I was like, I am enough, just as I am. I don't have to be famous. We don't have to be have hashtags and 50 million people following us and liking us. Just the sense that they are perfectly flawed and perfect just as they are. Because when you allow people to be themselves, and I think like my family, I will say that I allow people to be exactly who they are.
I love it.
And that's why it's like, I don't judge. That's why I have friends that are so many different things, because I was like, that's your journey. That has nothing to do with me.
Yes.
Except that we met, out of the billions of people, I met you for some reason.
Yes. Wow. That is exactly on point. Beautiful, Marlow. I absolutely love it. She's going to pop back in one more time, you guys, and we will not hold her up after this.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's basically what I would like to leave people with, maybe to be inspired, to be self-aware, and have a wonderful sense of themselves. That is all good, because I think if I can do that for somebody, then it kind of reflects, and I'm doing it for myself. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Definitely.
And we all need that. I think we all need that.
Yes, we do. Putting that good energy out there. Thank you. Yes, that love, that's what we need right now. We need each other. We definitely do.
We need each other, and just a basic, genuine respect. Because why, I want you to be happy. I want you to have all the things that you want in life. So that way you ain't got to be mad at me for having, you know what I mean?
Yeah. For having what
you know what I mean? Like when you're happy, like when I'm really happy, I can only see the good in everybody else. Yes. When I'm not, I'm like, look at her. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
because July, baby. Are you born in July? All right, you guys. So I won't hold you any longer. Marlow has been awesome. She is my favorite playwright, I must say. I am just grateful. Okay, she came back to say.
No, I'm born in August 21st. I'm a Leo.
Okay. All right. I'm July 23rd. So.
Oh, you are? My niece is July 27th.
Oh, wow. She's awesome, isn't she?
I know somebody else who's July 23rd.
Oh, wow. They're good people.
I'm an August Leo, so I don't know. Yeah.
Ooh, you can be a little, no. I got some August babies in here. I do. I got two.
Do you have some what?
I have some August babies here.
August. Okay.
Yeah, I got a couple. They tough. But this has been great. I'm so grateful for your time, Marlow. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing. Like I told the people, you're my favorite playwright. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Sorry about the internet connection, but we made it through.
We made it through. No worries. I like I say, I've been trying to get you here for months. I was going to wait. If it would have took us to midnight to get through, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you be blessed, and I will keep in touch. Thank you so much once again for your time.
All right. Me too. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. God bless.